You're listening to an archived Cabral Concept podcast. After listening to this show, check out the most up-to-date podcasts available at stephencabral.com/podcasts or search directly on iTunes. And now, welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Today on this Friday review, I'm going to be giving you my best of the best. So every week, every Friday, I review supplements, I review research, I review books, all of the things that I believe can benefit you. So here's what I want to go over first today. I want to go over the concept of single vitamin solutions. Now, what does that mean? Well, they're typically marketed as the best of the best, a huge amount of hype around it. Like, as I talked about on this Tuesday edition, this Total Wellness Tuesday, so episode 72, I spoke about how calcium was always marketed as like this miracle thing for helping with stronger bones and all of those different things, and marketed even more heavily to women. And then we found out it was actually causing heart attacks when it's taken in the wrong form. Obviously not a good thing. Let's keep this in mind today and then going forward. Why are single vitamin solutions marketed? Meaning like just calcium or just, let's say, vitamin D2 back in the day, like all of these things. Well, the thing is this, they're extremely inexpensive to make when it's just one single vitamin. And so they can sell it to you obviously at a cheaper price, make more money, which no one likes. But also, the reason I'm so against it is that vitamins do not work by themselves and is not properly utilized in the body as a single solution. There is no one single solution. Meaning, like, if you need stronger bones, definitely tune in to episode 72. You don't just need calcium. You need calcium, you need magnesium, you need vitamin D, you need vitamin K. Basically, you need a full, good methylated multi, and you have to take them in their bioavailable forms. You can't just take calcium carbonate, which is made from like limestone. That's the wrong form to take. That's the cheap form. You can't just buy your vitamins, again, like I said, at a drugstore. They're always going to be the cheapest version, and they're not going to be healthy for you. But let's get back to the whole concept of single vitamin solutions. It's the thought process that just taking this one vitamin is going to cure everything. No one vitamin ever cures anything. Even B12, as great as B12 is for you, not the cyanocobalamin, but the adeno or the methylcobalamin, even as great as that is for you, it's not the cure-all. It just isn't. It should be part of an overall wellness plan. So to think that one single vitamin or one marketed hype vitamin is ever going to cure anything, it's not. So I want you to get that out of your mind. I think that will help you as you're kind of combing through all the marketing, combing through all the research. If there's one single thing that you're missing, yes, you could add that to a plan, meaning you could add zinc to a plan if you're deficient in zinc, if you're having skin-based conditions, if you're having a weakened immune system, all of these specific things you could help for. But that would be added to a full all-in-one support shake, a full good multi, a full plan, not just this one thing. I've never seen it work to this day. Even biotin for hair. Again, don't buy it. Yes, biotin can be good for your hair, skin, and nails. But just taking biotin, even at 5,000 micrograms a day, is that really the solution? I haven't seen it. Yes, it can help, but as part of an overall wellness plan. All right, so that's my rant on single vitamin solutions. Do look for good multi-packs or good synergistic forms where it's not just calcium. It's calcium, it's magnesium, it has vitamin D, it has vitamin K, all of those things. All right, check that out. Now let's go over a children's probiotic. Now, so sometimes you find things out because you have a specific need for it. So you do a lot of research, you do all these specific things. When I had my first daughter, she was very colicky. And so I had to do a lot of research on how this could be. And then I started to look at sometimes there is improper gut balance. And this was exactly what she had. Now, believe it or not, there's a specific strain of probiotic called Lactobacillus reuteri. And reuteri actually is the specific form that would come from, now, and just hopefully this happens in most women, when you're breastfeeding or nursing your baby, you're going to pass this on. But some women, if they don't have that to pass on, then it isn't there to pass on. Either way, a lot of children can benefit from this one, or I should say infants can benefit from this one specific strain of probiotic. And this probiotic works so well, it can literally rebalance the body and fix a colicky baby's crying fits, all of their discomfort within the same day or 2 to 3 days. It is truly amazing, and it's helped out so many women and families, okay? Of course, I was affected as well when my baby was colicky. So this is one that I would definitely check out. Pass it around as well, because there's so many people too, right, whose children, they're up crying, they're having all these things, we don't know what it is. At least try this. It works so phenomenally well. It's just taken as a drop. So if you are a woman nursing, you can put this right on your breast, and when your child is nursing, they can get it that way, very, very simply. Or you can just use it as drops and just give it to your infant or your child. It could be a small child as well. And there are many, many children's probiotics on the market. However, I want to warn you against a few. Please make sure that your children's probiotic does not have sugar alcohol in it, that does not, so it ends in like sorbitol and all these different alls in it, that they don't have any dyes either, that there's no reds, blues, or yellows in your children's vitamins or probiotics. That's very, very important. Now, I'm just going to give you one today. There are many good children's probiotics, but let me just give you one. It's in powdered form. It's called Floor Boost. It is by Orthomolecular, and you could just take a scoop of that, one serving, and you could give it to your child in their water if you decided that was appropriate for you. So please take those recommendations, and if you feel that they could work well for you and your family, do use those. All right, the last thing I want to recommend to you today is a whole line of books, okay? It's called Neuro-Linguistic Programming. Now, a lot of people, they buy into this, don't buy into this. It works for some people, doesn't work for some people. Well, that's kind of life, right? Some things work for some people and some don't work for others, but I do want to bring it to your attention. Now, Neuro-Linguistic Programming, it can get pretty in-depth, right? It can get pretty complicated. What does it really mean? Well, NLP, let's call it NLP because it's much more and less intimidating. NLP is basically taking, I'm going to simplify this right now. Every time we have a negative thought, like something that we don't believe we can achieve, we're not good at something, or something's holding us back, there's some type of fear, what we're doing is either subconsciously or consciously, we're conjuring up an image. So we think that we could never lose weight. So we start to think of ourselves, or that image pops up as ourself overweight. That's our image now of ourself. So that's obviously not a healthy image. We actually start to now, we need to picture ourselves. We need to visualize ourselves as someone who's in better shape, who's thinner, who's overall healthier. We need to get that image into our head. So how do we do that? Well, when that image of the unhealthy, of the overweight person starts to pop in our head, or the unwell person starts to pop in our head, we need to replace it with the image of the healthy person that we're looking to be, that we want to be, or that we truly are. And so what neuro-linguistic programming does, what NLP does, it teaches you how to do that. It actually teaches you how to, when an image pops up, well, first become aware of it, right? That's obviously the most important step because you're not aware of it right now. Then you actually start to make it smaller. You start to change that to a black and white image. You start to put music to it. You do these things that kind of sound kind of funny to do, but what you're doing is you're making that image less intimidating, less fearful, and that helps with the unconscious or the subconscious. And then you replace it with that image of what you do want. It really does work. It works for so many people. And I do recommend that you check it out. So what are some books that you could check out? Well, you could simply look at books on, well, let's give you a few authors. You could look at Richard Bandler. You could look at Paul McKenna, Dr. Paul McKenna. Those two gentlemen, both great authors. Richard Bandler, I guess, was more like the father of NLP. Paul McKenna has really popularized it. He's from the UK. He's written a whole series of books, so you can actually look up him. You could look up the particular thing you're trying to work on, whether it's confidence, whether it's weight loss, whether it's smoking, any of these specific things. And you could buy and purchase that specific book. They're really inexpensive, $10, $15, and you could learn about NLP. I recommend everyone do it. If you've never heard about neuro-linguistic programming, I have no affiliation with it whatsoever, but I do know that it's helped so many people, and I'd start to look at those tips. Now, the worst it could do is it could start to just make you more aware of what you're thinking, what your thoughts are. And that's a great thing in and of itself. I hope these best of the best solutions that I provided with you or for you today, that you take them into account, that you think about if they're right for you, and that you begin to implement them in your own life. Thank you, everyone, for tuning into the Cabral Concept.
Did you know that the body really only becomes sick or unbalanced in only 2 ways? Over time, you become deficient in vital nutrients, and you also accumulate toxins internally and from the environment. As those nutrients diminish and you increase your total toxic load, your body then begins to show the first signs of dis-ease. It's actually quite predictable, and the good news is that if we know how you began to fill up that proverbial rain barrel, we also know how to empty it to begin the healing process. I was fortunate enough to learn this ancient healing process from my mentor after suffering from debilitating diseases for close to a decade. It was only when I began to implement these techniques did I finally overcome my illnesses and go on to live a life of energy and vitality that I now enjoy. I'd like to share with you now what I discovered after traveling all over the world and how to combine the best of ancient healing wisdom with state-of-the-art science. Allow me to teach you exactly how I've been able to help over 250,000 people to empty their rain barrel and begin to transform their body and lives into what they've always hoped they could be. To get your copy of the international bestseller, The Rain Barrel Effect, simply go to stephencabral.com/rainbarrel.